100 days in Arc Gen 1, but there's a twist. I have to start in the ocean biome. The ocean biome is one of the hardest biomes to start in, due to you spawning on a tiny little island like this with hardly any resources. You still have, of course, your basic resources like wood, thatch, stone, and flint, but if you want any resources like hide, you're going to have to drop down, and once you're down, there's no real easy way to get back up. I don't really know why that on my first Arc video I'm making things harder for myself, but I guess here I am, so yeah. So my end goal for this will be establish a good base, of course in the ocean biome, defeat at least beta motar. I feel like I probably need more time to do alpha, but I'm at least going to try for beta, and get at least one of the 3 large ocean creatures. I'm talking the mega chellon, tuso, and mosa. I'm going to let the rest of the background montage play out because I'm kind of proud of it. Oh, and by the way, what I mean by start in the ocean biome is I will basically be locked to the ocean biome for the first like 60 levels, then I will be able to move to other biomes. So day 1, I just did your basic stuff, collected berries, marked a tree with a pickaxe, marked a rock with a pickaxe, learned some basic engrams, built a little foundation, built a box on the foundation, put some stuff in the box, and then just went back to harvesting. So this is actually after I had fallen down and only harvesting resources to try and build my way back up to the top. So the basic idea was to kind of build kind of like a spiraling thatch staircase up to it, which I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work because there might be like building limit or something like that, but so far it was working pretty well. Out right here I'm still kind of tweaking the design a bit, but later I actually get a relatively consistent design that doesn't seem to have a height. The most annoying part though wasn't actually building it, it was when I was out of resources and then had to jump down and take a bunch of fall damage or go back down the staircase just to get more resources. And I didn't have the best weight, so I couldn't carry that many. But I kept building up until I was finally high enough to jump back to the top of my island. As you can see, I'm pretty happy with what I did, even though it looks like an abomination. So day 2, I finally got the balls to actually go into the ocean, because I needed hides, so of course I went for a turtle. And the fight with the turtle was going good for a bit, until it wasn't. Yes, just forget this happened, I died to a turtle. It was a powerful turtle, okay.
That's the beauty of the Genesis simulation.
I beg to differ, Helena. I beg to differ. So, having spawned on a completely different island, I had no clue where I was, so I looked for the quickest way back to the respawn menu. Thankfully, there was this kind manta here.
Oh no, listen, go.
So, on one of my attempts of just swimming back, I got distracted and saw a glitch. So I decided to swim over to it.
Yes!
And I don't know if this was an update, but I guess you don't get hexagons from it anymore. Probably been like that for over a year and people are just gonna think I'm dumb. And of course there's a shark. And I guess this kind of works in my favor. And I'm in the exact same place. So here's where I realized that once I wait for her to like say hello, I can actually
Welcome
buy
to the
hide.
hexagon.
You read that correct. It took me about 20 minutes to find my way back. And hey, the turtle's still here. I'm sure he's so happy to see me. As I draw back the bow. At last, the sound of progression. Or I guess, sight. Whatever. I don't know. So then I need to make my way up the, I guess we'll call it a makeshift ladder. Yes, it took me a while to get up. It's not the most efficient ladder. There are many like it, but this ladder is mine. Actually, it's pretty one of a kind. So then I just harvested up a bunch of resources. I don't really know why I fast forward all of this, but I guess I did. So I finally got a sleeping bag down and mortar and pestle. And I got to work on an actual ladder. So I just fiddled around with the ladder for a while, trying to figure out how to get it to go all the way down. Not realizing that you need to build it all the way down.
Really?
I'm trying, okay? So then I'm trying to think of a way to get down to actually get my stuff, and I decided to just jump in the ocean. But of course, knowing my luck, there is a cyclone just waiting for me. And I got a campfire. So I lost a little bit of footage here. It was only like 1, maybe 2 days, so yeah. So day 5, I finally found a little island that's you can actually walk up and down, which is nice. And I figured out that I can use Helena's bioteleportation to get to different places instead of having to kill myself every time. So basically all I did to find this island was just experiment with different spawn zones, and eventually I found spawn zone east, which brought me here. So this is me about to teleport to a bunch of different places.
Here we go.
Just to try and find
Teleport
a better spawn
now.
zone.
Here we go.
And it didn't really go
Teleport
that well because
activated.
I didn't find anything better than what I have. Oh, and I can't believe it took me 5 days to get one. I finally got a raft. Seems like kind of the thing I'd try and go for day 1, but okay. So I took my new raft over to a farther island to try and get some potentially metal. Thankfully this island was also one of the ones that you can just walk up and don't need to build some elaborate ramp or ladder on your raft, which I do end up doing. But if you want to get higher to the better resources on this island, you need to start building. So I built like a basic little ladder contraption kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know why I built a hatch frame here, but okay. And it was worth it because at the very top was the resources I need. Metal. So I harvested up all the metal. So then I wanted to get to an even higher spot to get more metal. So I started work on another even bigger and more elaborate, probably way too elaborate, ladder contraption. You see, I cut it down the footage to about like 3 seconds of me building that. Realistically, it took me like 10 minutes to figure it out. But once again, it was all worth it because there was that sweet, sweet metal. So yeah, then I just proceeded to harvest up all the metal. So then I got to gather the resources I needed to build a refining forge on my raft. And yes, it got to the point where I was literally buying hide from Helena. So I just got the rest of the metal transferred down. And then I went on a very long, just kind of circle of the entire map on my raft Just kind of checking out where stuff was, trying to get myself more familiar with the map, find out where the world borders were. Ended up passing my original spawn island, and of course seeing a big green death beacon there. So then, for some reason, I don't really know why, but this one glitch intrigued me. I've passed like 5 other glitches, and for some reason that was the first one I decided to actually get. So then I ran into this underwater, I guess we'll call it a cave, because I don't really know another quick, easy way to say it. Basically, under here becomes my base for the time being. It doesn't become my final base, because it's the ocean biome. I want a base on an ocean platform, obviously. So as proof of how unfamiliar I am with this map, this is literally me trying to figure out how to get into this thing. Yes, at this point, I didn't know that you could just swim in pretty much any of the sides. So then I finally get the balls to swim down. And holy crap, does this place look good. Probably rivaling some places on Aberration. So then I was just minding my own business, peacefully swimming up to my raft. I see you, buddy. I see you. So while I was down there, I learned that there's no actual trees I can harvest down there. So I'm gonna have to be making most of the stuff I have down there out of stone, simply because stone is really plentiful down there, because all of the little corals you see on the ground, I can actually harvest for stone. So if you look, all of this coral right here, I can actually harvest for stone. By the way, it's day 6.
Survivor. Here's what
Yes,
Cheers,
wood
Survivor.
became such an issue that I was literally buying wood off of Helena 2. The same eel is really determined to get me. So grab the metal out of the furnace that had smelted up on my way over, checking to see if the coast is clear. It'll be fine. So I made it down with the metal, crafted up a smithy, placed the smithy, and now I wanted to get some actual tools crafted up. So I put the metal in, all the stuff I needed, crafted up a hatchet, and used it to farm a bunch of stone to continue the building of my base. So then I got a finding board to place down. And then I got to work harvesting up some of the plentiful metal nodes down here. It's funny, there's like a ton of every resource except wood. Speaking of wood, I really needed that. So I got on my raft to try and find an island that I could walk up to that potentially had a lot of trees. Perfect little island for some deforestation. So when I was done clearing out every tree that I could reach, I had gotten together a pretty substantial amount of wood. So we'll hit it all the way back. This is, of course, sped up. Wish my raft went this fast. And now that I finally had a good amount of wood, I was able to get the rest of my tools. And I did more farming to expand my base. And I was able to get a nice 6x2 foundation down. And I discovered a kind of secret little entrance slash exit to my base. I'm thinking I can maybe like wall off this section here. So here I wanted to kind of explore what was in like the deeper waters around my base, just to kind of see what I was working with. And going down here a bit, I found an even deeper air pocket, kind of underwater cave thing. And I was considering checking it out, but there were complications. So I swam my butt out of there as fast as I could. And of course, the whole way up there were eels right on my butt. They literally chase you forever, because you can like barely outrun them. Yeah, originally I was just coming out of my base to grab some metal. I kind of just got distracted. I get distracted a lot. I swear this is the same eel. No, 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 no. That's mildly terrifying. It has been so long since I've dealt with eels, I completely forgot they could do that. So day 7 I started off with some base upgrades. Got some walls put down. I was getting some stairs placed. So this day I wanted to try and get a first tame, and I was thinking of teleports. So I literally had to build up so I was close enough, bola it, and then train it up from here. And if you're wondering why I'm going for Pelagornis, it's because I have flyers enabled on this. I'm not going to be like abusing the flyers for missions or anything like that. I'm really just going to be using it so just to access stuff easier, because I don't have the luxury of actually being able to get resources easily by teleporting to other biomes. So about a cryopod from Helena, picked up Bob with it, got all the way back, crafted a saddle for him, and I was finally able to fly. Yay. So then I wanted to actually try and get into the bottom cave, because there were probably going to be some good resources in there. I was able to sneak past the mosas, and I was correct. There was a lot of crystal, blue gems, red gems, green gems, and metal down here. Also, the place just looked sick, so. And in my defense, I was not expecting this, but this one actually had some elevation, to say the least. But I mean, it looked sick, so worth it. It would probably be a really cool experience here if I wasn't dying.
You got it!
So then I decided to place a bed down here and then go for another wood run. Cleared out the entire top section of this, getting a pretty solid amount of resources. A lot of thatch, a lot of wood, just generally stuff I need. By the way, I keep forgetting to say this, but it's day 8 now. And then for some reason, I wanted to go for a Dunkleo, which at the time I thought I could probably knock out. So I crafted up 2 behemoth gates and 3 behemoth gateways, which took a while to grind the resources to. And can someone at Wildcard please explain to me how 2 behemoth gates and 3 behemoth gateways consisting of 3,600 stone, 3,600 wood, and 3,600 thatch somehow doesn't even weigh as much as 50 stone? I'm confused. But I went down to the bottom of the ocean and started placing the trap. But when I was swimming up to him to trank him the first time, he has a lot of torpor. So today I wanted to go for a shark, because I currently don't have anything to really traverse the ocean with, aside from a raft, and I can't really go underwater with that. So I was just wandering around looking for sharks. Finally found one. This was actually the first one I found. 135, I will take that. So me being the Megalodon taming genius that I am, I decided to make a normal dinosaur gate trap. No, I was not aware that they can't fit through dinosaur gates. So I was just swimming up to it, trying to get its attention. But of course it's attacking a turtle. And in the ocean, if a Megalodon is attacking a turtle, especially level 145, it's going to be distracted there for the foreseeable future. So I decided to head back home for a variety of reasons. One, I need more tranks. Two, I need to repair my stuff. So I had everything I needed to go tame the Megalodon. But, of course, when I got there, I ran into a bit of a problem.
Damn, boy, he's sick!
Yeah, that thing's not dying anytime soon. So I ended up just kind of taking this time to get as many tranks in it as I can, until I finally lost interest in the turtle. And I started leading it over to my trap, thinking I was going to trap it, it was all going to be fine. And here's when I realized that they can't fit through the gates. So yeah, that sucked. So yeah, I literally just ended up sitting here, kind of dancing around the trap, tranking it for a while. I never actually ended up trapping it or anything. I just kind of ended up dancing around it, tranking it. And of course, eventually when it started torpor running, it was just wandering, thankfully into kind of like the world border, so it wasn't too bad. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just starts coming for me. I don't really understand that. And of course, it being an X creature and taking a ridiculous amount of tranks, I needed to craft a smithy just to repair my crossbow midway through. Thankfully, I finally ended up getting it tranked out, relatively close to a world border, and not really near anything that could attack it, thankfully. So I finally got it tamed, came out at half decent level. I think I only ended up taming it with like normal meat though. But nonetheless, this is going to be a huge help and a huge advancement in this series. Because I can finally go to deep ocean and not get completely destroyed at least. But since this is Genesis, you don't actually get the wild resistance when it's tamed. So wild Megalodons can just kind of destroy you. So yeah. So one of the big things holding me back from progression right now is silica pearls for electronics. So I just kind of went along these shelves killing Eurypterids and learned a fabricator, generator, cables, all that stuff. So if you've been paying attention, you might have noticed that I haven't really been wearing armor this entire time. So now that I'm level 56, I can finally craft flak. So I obviously crafted up myself a full suit of that. So then I went down to that deeper underwater cave thing to gather up some crystal to make a fabricator. Getting this fabricator was really the first step into real progression. So on day 12 I finally reached the level 60 mark, which means I can actually go to other biomes now and start getting more useful tames like berry collectors, so I don't have to harvest everything by hand. So I started by loading up Bob and starting the teleport to the Arctic.
Coordinates locked.
So I was going to go
Time to
for a
teleport.
woolly rhino. The reason I was going
Teleport
for a woolly
activated.
rhino is because it's good at collecting
Teleporting
berries
always makes me a
and
bit
it's
dizzy.
still a strong tame. And of course I'm dying. Helicornus just looks so out of place in the Arctic biome. So I went around looking for high-level woolly rhinos, and I stumbled across a 150 Megatherium. I might end up coming back for that. $145, I will take that. And I didn't actually bring a trap with me, so I'm gonna harvest up the resources and actually build the trap here. So this clip is a little bit later after I tried one trap design, realized it couldn't fit through gates, and then tried this trap design. And unfortunately, in one of the failed attempts with the other trap design, Bob unfortunately died. But if I'm able to get this guy, it'll definitely be worth it. This entire series, I've just been so underestimating the amount of tranks these X creatures take. It's just ridiculous. So when I finally got it tranked out, I was about to die because at night it gets way colder, and I was just barely able to get torches set up before I actually died. And I need to go collect some berries. And considering I was literally taming this guy off of meadow berries, this took a while. So I'm not actually going to show like the full thing, of course, because it's just, I was waiting there for like literally 20 minutes or something. Clipping finally. Warning, cannot teleport. Well, no
Teleporting always makes me a bit dizzy.
And to find out that teleporting to west actually gets me relatively close to my base. Like, my base is just in this direction over here. So I swam all the way back. This took a while. And when I got back, I crept up a saddle. And I was of course expecting him to be good at berry harvesting, but I wasn't expecting this. And since I had so many seeds now, I decided to make a greenhouse with all of the crystal from the deeper underwater cave. So I got some irrigation set up. So then I decided to finally fix my hide problem by killing some stuff in the Arctic with my woolly rhino. And I also got some pelt to make fur armor. That's some pretty solid damage. So then I saw some beaver dams, and I thought this was a really good time to get some messing paste, considering I have like none of that. And don't worry, I'm not an animal, I dropped the wood. So teleported back, swam back, deposited the loot, and wanted to do some missions, because I really haven't done many of them. So from the beta, didn't really get anything amazing, just like basic stuff. And from the alpha, didn't really get anything too amazing either.
That was fast.
Except for the riot shield, which is pretty nice, and the Megatherium saddle. So then I wanted to do the dolphin race. First I'm just going to try it on Gamma, just to see if there's like, maybe like a mosa or something in the way or something.
What the hell is even that?
First time going through this, that actually scared me.
That was
Not
fast.
gonna lie. So then I wanted to try and go for a Basilo. The reason I was going for a Basilo is because I wanted to make a chellon. And to make a chellon, you need to like lure the fish warm up, all that stuff. You probably know how to tame one. But a Basilo is really good for it because it doesn't get stunned by eels and stuff. And eels is definitely a big problem you can run into when trying to get Mega Chellon. So to get a Basilo, I would need to get the fish meat from the Elite 60s I saw over here. I know that Elite 60s are like basically harmless if you just like swim up to them and grab the fish meat, but this is still terrifying.
Oh my god!
So yeah, looking back at the notes I took while doing this playthrough, I actually found the bassalo before I went for the fish meat. So no, I didn't just go for the fish meat and then all of a sudden happened to run into a 150 bassalo. I actually found the 150 bassalo and then went for the fish meat. Also, I don't know why I didn't go for bassalo sooner, because this is way easier than the megalodon, and bassalos are so much better than megalodon. Like, if I ever do this again, I'm definitely going for bassalo first. So a lot of time and fish meat later, I got the bassalo, and I almost drowned. So starting day 17, I got a saddle for my bassalo, and decided to do some leveling with it. It is so nice not getting shocked by eels. So then I went to do what I originally tamed the bassalo for, and that was taming a mega chellon. So I looked around at the levels a bit, till I found 145. So I swam down to the bottom of the ocean, got a fish school to follow me, which took a while to get it all the way up. Like, I think it took me like 7 minutes, roughly, just to get it like maybe 200 feet. So unfortunately, I lost the footage of me actually doing the tame, but I got the fish school up to the mega chellon, and then my PC kind of like shut down for a second, and I forgot that that turns off the recording. So yeah, after I cryopod it is when I realized that I wasn't recording. And you cannot tell me there isn't some resemblance here. So now that I had a pretty strong bassalo, I decided I could probably do some hunt missions. So I started with the Elite 60s hunt mission on Gamma. I don't really know how tracks in water work, but I won't question it. So as I expected, I was doing really good damage and it was doing hardly any because this is Gamma.
Let me scan this right quick.
So then it started leading me pretty deep, and I don't know if I can really take on mosas or tusos with this bassalo. So
Wait a tick, and I'll scan this for you.
yeah, I don't know if I can really continue this if it goes too far down.
Oh hell no!
And guess what? I can't outrun a tuso, so I had to fight this one.
What's that over there?
So I really didn't have any trouble with the tuso, but once it got low enough that it did its ink ability, when I was blinded by the ink, I didn't realize that mosa was also aggro to me. So when I was in the ink, I realized, like, let's all of a sudden doing 160 damage, and I probably can't fight a mosa, so I left. So day 20, I decided to go to the bog biome with my woolly rhino to maybe do some missions. So I just did some of the basic missions, like the dodo ball one. And then I wanted to do I think it was the Caprasuchus race. I swear they made those things bigger.
Start!
So the Capra race went pretty smoothly. Of course it was Gamma, so didn't get too much good loot. It was just like basic, like kite and stuff. Nothing really useful.
Top of the leaderboard.
Day 21, crafted up a saddle from a mega chellon and decided to test him out. He's a bit slow. Just a bit. But he does have the thing where he actually gives you oxygen when you're around the back. He also, of course, has this little, like, raft mode, I guess you could call it, because where he, like, stays above water. So then I wanted to build stuff on him, so I started with a basic platform of some foundations, then added some refining forges, storage, and a smithy. So then I decided to go to one of the underwater caves where I know there's a lot of crystal and other resources, and having him down there will basically allow me to smelt any metal I have right there, and he gives me a ton of extra weight to carry stuff. So yeah, I basically spent all of day 22 down here harvesting up red gems, green gems, blue gems, and crystal. Then when I got back to my base, I tried fitting my mega chellon through this entrance, and he definitely did not fit. So I decided to turn him around and try another way. And I did not expect him to fit through this, but somehow he did. And you know what, I'll take it. So then I decided what better thing to accompany my mega chellon than an ocean platform to park him in. But of course the main ingredient in it was wood, and that was what I was low on. So I took my mega chellon out to a nearby island and harvested up a bunch of wood. So I got out with a solid amount of wood. I had all the shell fragments and everything I needed. The only real problem was having to transfer 300 wood at a time from the mega chellon. So I just decided to demolish one of the foundations so that I could access his inventory and put it straight into the smithy instead of having to keep moving. And don't worry, I did the same to the one next to it, so OCD. So then I placed down the ocean platform and parked the mega chellon in it. Fits perfectly. So the start of day 25, I decided to go down to the deeper underwater cave nearer to my base and harvest up some of the metal down there. Since I had refining forges on the back of my mega chellon, I could smelt it up all right there. I also realized that I was finally level 83, which meant I could finally get ammo for the fabricated sniper rifle that I got pretty early on. So then I realized I needed a more mobile utility creature for taming and carrying stuff. So I went to the Arctic to go get an RG. And at first I went there with my mega chellon because that was like my best tame currently that could go on land. So I don't really know what I was thinking because the thing is super slow. So yeah, eventually got some common sense and teleported out of there. And I just ended up coming back on foot to look for an RG. And I managed to find a level 150. So then I set a basic trap for it, just 3 gateways and 2 gates. Just your basic, like, minimum what you need kind of thing. So then I used my fabricated sniper to lure it down just by shooting it once. Didn't do much damage because the sniper wasn't very good. Got my tranks ready. There's no way by the time it got to me it was already not interested. So I shot it again, lured it in. Basically trapped it with no difficulties whatsoever. Except that at first I didn't think I was able to get out. And yes, I know I still don't forgive myself right now, but I didn't realize it was going to go out and I shot it, so yeah, I lost 10% effectiveness. So that sucks, but I wasn't really going for like a perfect 150 for breeding, so I wasn't gonna like let it wake up. So then I just killed Novus, got some raw mutton for it, and then got out of there before an avalanche killed me. Have I mentioned how creative my names are? So then the rest of day 27 I kind of just flew around pointlessly on my RG. So starting day 28 I wanted to get an Anki for metal harvesting. So I flew around the Arctic a bit until I found a good level. And it's only going to be used for metal harvesting, so I was happy with 135. So I just flew it back to the original thing that I tamed my woolly rhino in, and then started drinking it out. So I finally had an efficient way of getting metal. So I picked him up in a cryopod, teleported to west, and then flew the rest of the way home. Crafted him up a saddle, and then wanted to go for a more mobility tame. And you can probably guess where I'm going with blood packs. So I teleported to the bog and started looking for Bloodstalkers. And I was really having trouble finding good levels, so I think I ended up settling for like a 95.
Well,
So I know how to get higher effectiveness on them, but currently I was just going for something that I can traverse the area better with. Because an RG's good, but a Bloodstalker's just so much better. Yes, this first bit I was basically clueless about how to use a Bloodstalker. I think it had been like over a year since I'd used one. And I mean, I was starting to get the hang of it, but it still wasn't very good. So yeah, basically the rest of day 30 was just me playing around with the Bloodstalker, trying to get better with it. So day 31 I teleported back to the ocean after getting my Bloodstalker, and made up some drink darts finally. Then I teleported over to the Arctic biome, thinking I was going to tame something, but I ended up just collecting a bunch of cementing paste while I was there. And I kind of just swung around pointlessly. And I did a fishing mission. Then I went over to the bog biome to do the bog beatdown gauntlet mission. This was just so satisfying and fun to get the flamethrower. So you just one-shot everything. And I got some decent loot from it, nothing too amazing, but a lot of really heavy stuff. But I did get a lot of black chestplates that are better than what I currently have. So then I wanted to actually try and tame a tuso, because I had discovered a 145 female tuso, and I was looking at dodo decks to see how many black pearls I would need. And due to how hard it is to tame a mosa, and how actually relatively easy it is to tame a tuso, I think I might go for a tuso army against motar instead of a mosa army, which a lot of people do. So then I went to tame a turtle, because you need a tuso to grab something that's preferably high health, and then swim up to its mouth and feed it. And turtles are by far the best for this, because they have good resistance, good health, etc. And here I'm making sure I have enough black pearls to tame it. So when I got over to it to tame it, there was a slight problem. There was mosa right next to it, and it was level 125 mosa, which I wasn't feeling very confident about killing with my basilo. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do here until I was super lucky here, and the mosa literally got kidnapped by a bubble. So then I was basically just able to kill it for free. I think it only ended up getting like 1 or 2 hits on me. So yeah, this really worked out in my favor. So then I got 50 of the black pearls into my inventory, because you feed it in increments of 50. So I got it into the back of my hotbar, and then threw out my turtle. Do you like its name? So then I swam up to the tuso with the turtle, and at first it wasn't aggroing, so I poked its eyeball, and it grabbed me. And I did not expect this to go so quickly, but literally tamed it on the first feed. I only have like slightly boosted taming rates, I think. Like only like maybe like 0.5 extra taming, I think. So I didn't actually put its stats into Dotadex to see how many points it had into each stat, but as you'll see later, I think it got good health. So beginning day 37, I wanted to make some base upgrades. So I started by just placing foundations all over, so I had snap points. Then I built some walls up, got 2 smithies down, and then I was just placing some storage here. Made these 1 wall high little platforms that would hopefully connect well to like a chellon. And they actually ended up connecting pretty perfectly because on some of them I didn't even need to jump up to them, I could actually just walk, which was really convenient. And the crazy thing is I didn't even like line them up previously or anything, this was just kind of me winging it, so yeah. So then I continued the building by placing down a fabricator, and I placed down some basic pillars around the edges. Of course, this is still a massive work in progress. So then I realized that I was getting pretty low on metal, and since I had recently gotten an RG, an Anki, and I have the Mega Chellon with
ready.
a bunch of furnaces on the back, I decided to go over to the Arctic with my RG and my Anki to farm a bunch of metal. And when I was looking through my engrams, I realized that I can get a mosa platform saddle. Might be going for a mosa soon then. So how I was doing the metal farming solo was I would basically just carry my Anki around to different metal nodes, drop him next to them, and then he would like auto hit them. It wasn't the most efficient way, but it was better than dropping it, having to hit the rock while on him, and so on. Occasionally it did take a while for him to actually hit the node. Like sometimes, as you can see here, he literally hit every rock but the node. But sometimes I would drop him right on the node and he would basically hit it immediately. So it was little bits like this that really started to speed it up. Like right there, he hit it immediately. Right there, I barely dropped him on it and he hit it. So it was getting more and more efficient as I went on. While I was here, I also found a bunch of crystals, so I decided to harvest up with my Anki and get that going too. Also got a lot more metal because I switched to a different location. Basically just kind of teleported around with all my guys. And this was actually surprisingly efficient because I ended up getting home with just around 1500 metal, and this is only like half of it. I still have a bunch more still smelting. So, starting day 58, I wanted to get an anglerfish so that I could collect up silica pearls really quickly, because currently electronics was the only thing really holding me back from some serious progression. And yes, I am going for level 20 because I just don't really have the time to deal 7,000 plus torpor to like a high level. And plus I'm having to sit in here and shoot 2 tranks into it because I had tried taming other low levels, but they would all die before they got knocked out because I'm just using like a basic crossbow. So yeah, I actually needed those 2 darts to actually get this thing knocked out. And since it's a level 20, it tamed in 1 piece of meat. Like seriously, does any other creator have the creative names I do? So to prove why I really only needed a level 20, I got like, I think it was over 1500 silica pearls just in like, I think it was about 10 minutes-ish of harvesting those big clams on the side of the ocean floor. So using the electronics and some of the obsidian I had harvested, I crafted up all of the polymer and electronics needed to craft a chemistry bench. And of course, a chemistry bench needs both electricity and fuel, so I also got a generator hooked up. So then I found a level 125 mosa down there that I wanted to tame because one of my goals was to get one of every big creature, and a mosa was the last one on the list. And when I looked at dodo decks, it would take over 215 bolts to actually knock out a level 125 X mosa. And I forgot my harpoon gun. Well, actually my like 5 or 6 harpoon guns, because you need like a ridiculous amount of harpoons, and one harpoon gun, even if it's like good, probably couldn't launch 215 bolts. So I have like 6 on me here. So now came the scariest part, and that was leading it in on foot. I couldn't actually carry it with the tuso because it would like clip to stuff and it was just not working. So I ended up getting it in without too much trouble. At first I actually thought I built it too close and couldn't get out. It only ended up hitting me once though, and I was actually able to get it trapped, which surprised me because this was actually the first attempt. So then came the super long process of actually tranking it out. And I was here for so long shooting tranks into it. The most annoying part is most of the time I just had to kind of dance around the cage. There was only one time where it actually stayed still long enough that I could sit in the oxygen and shoot it. But of course that didn't last too long, and I needed to go back out there and keep dancing around the cage, getting it tranked out. And I never want to tame another X-mosa again, because this is just horrible. This is why I'm using a tuso army instead of a mosa army. So when I had finally knocked this thing out, I looked and it had taken me 22 minutes of just shooting tranks into it to get it knocked out. And I never want to do that again. And the worst part is its torpor drains super fast, so I needed to give it narcotics immediately when I knocked it out. And when I was knocking it out, I couldn't really stop knocking it out, or I might not even have enough tranks to finish the knockout. But at least after I had knocked it out, it was pretty much just smooth sailing, and I got it tamed out. Like seriously, name one creator that has better names than me. So then I went to the volcanic biome because I wanted to get a magmasaur. Because, I wanted a magmasaur. I quickly realized that this was not going to be very easy for certain reasons. So I was going to go for this egg here because the closest magmasaurs to it are here, which aren't very close actually. So I was thinking of parking my Bloodstalker here, jumping across to the nest, grabbing it, and going back, and hopefully that rock would protect me from any fireballs from the magmasaurs. Hopefully. Or just get burnt to a crisp. Alright, here goes everything. Ooh, it's 125. Ideally, I won't need this rock to protect me. But okay, looks like I'm good.
Damn, nature, you scary.
So then I got out of there, teleported back home,
Teleport activated.
and got up some air conditioners to hopefully hatch the magmasaur. But of course, it was too cold. Then I remembered that you literally just need a big ring of torches. So I tried with about 5 and it was still too cold. So I flew up here, got a bunch of thatch, made a giant ring of torches, and now it was finally hatching. Ooh, it looks like I got good colors. I actually really like the colors I got. It's kind of like some gray in between all the colors. Kind of some, almost like a rust color with the red. Maybe like some black on the tips. Honestly, I think it looks really good. So this is me after teleporting back from the lunar biome. I was collecting up some ambergris because I forgot I needed that. And yeah, I barely teleported out of there before I died. But I got some ambergris, so yeah. So I just flew home and gave the ambergris to the baby. So then, while I waited for an imprint to be ready for the magmasaur, I decided to go do some hunt missions now that I have a pretty strong water tank. So I started with the beta Elite 60s hunt mission, which was going pretty good. It was really easy, honestly. Some of the other ones are way harder than Elite 60s, but even on alpha it doesn't really do that much damage.
Commencing scan.
It's a lot different doing this hunt mission on a Basilo than a level tuso. Because on a Basilo, like, I'm still afraid of like too many mosas or tusos or something like that, but now like I am the thing to be afraid of. I find it funny how Genesis has been out for what, like almost 2 years now? And in this, it spawns with Basilos as like its minion. But the Basilos don't have like different AI or anything. They still don't fight. Like they still run away from you. So they literally just run away until they're teleported back.
You bagged yourself quite a
So
trophy.
I almost forgot how much loot these missions actually give. The hunt missions, to be exact. Because so then I just beat it on Gamma real quick, and still got some pretty good stuff from Gamma, honestly. So then I wanted to try the Plessy mission on Beta, and it was going pretty well. Definitely does a lot more damage than the Elite 60s, but has way less health, so still pretty easy. At least it was easy until its minions spawned, and it was a pack of brute megalodons, which I just barely killed. So that was kind of terrifying.
Good on ya.
This game really has a way of like, you think you're powerful, and then something like that happens, and then you completely reconsider. So then I decided to do the Mosa mission on Gamma. The Mosa mission was honestly super easy. It was literally like one burst of hits, and it was already running away. By the way, in between these missions, I'm checking back at my base and imprinting the magmasaur.
Bagged yourself quite a trophy.
So from that one, I didn't get anything too amazing. Maybe some decent stuff. I got tech gauntlets, which I won't be able to use for a while.
Slow down. I should scan this.
So then I decided to do the Tuso hunt mission, which was pretty easy. I mean, of course it spawns with electric eels. Why wouldn't it? Is it just me, or is the brute Tuso literally the same size as a normal Tuso?
Now that's what I call a hunt.
I literally don't think they made it any bigger. The only really useful thing I got from this one was some better flat gauntlets, so that was nice. So then I went back to the biome to get more ambergris for my magmasaur. Got a decent amount. Gave it all to my magmasaur. I don't think he really needed it, but anyway. Then for some reason, I really don't know why, I just went to the top of an island, and I guess I was practicing my aim Okay, but yeah. So then it was time for base upgrades. I started with extending some pillars in the middle and starting on a roof at least. So my goal is to maybe have like a shorter outer roof on the outer pillars and have like it ramp up to the middle. Kind of like this a bit, or have like the outer roof and then kind of have it sloping up to the higher part of the roof. Maybe leave some open spots. I don't really know yet. So we got the sloped roofs in. I mean, actually, I used ramps because sloped roofs are kind of finicky. So I think it was looking pretty good. So then I added two more layers to the roof going in towards the center. I don't know if I'll leave the center open. I'll probably build some stuff on the top of this. I don't really know yet. But honestly, I'm kind of liking the look of it. So by now, the magmasaur is fully tamed. During the base upgrades, I was also imprinting it, so I got 100% imprint on it. Gave it a saddle, and decided to test it out a bit. It's been a while since I've actually used a magmasaur. I think it's been like probably over a year, and I don't think I've ever actually like gotten one legit. Okay, forgot I could do that. So then I thought, what better place to test it out than
Time to
the
teleport.
volcanic biome.
Teleporting always makes
So I
me a bit
teleported
dizzy.
over there and just started running around killing stuff with it. Completely unleveled, 336 damage is not that bad. I also completely forgot how good of a harvesting creature the magmasaur actually is. And here I remembered that it had the enable smelting option, which smelts anything in your inventory, so it's basically like a big furnace. Of course not as efficient as an industrial forge, but still pretty good. And it looks sick. I do like that damage. Like, just imagine seeing this walking at you. Like, this is pretty damn terrifying. They did such a good job on the model for this creature. Like, holy sh. So then I really just spent the rest of this day having fun with the magmasaur. So, considering it was now day 77, and I need to have an entire Tuso army bred up for a motor boss fight by day 100, I decided to go out and look for a good level Tuso to tame because I really need to get on top of the breeding. So basically right next to the underwater cave, kind of near my base, I found a 130. And it was a male, and that's what I needed, so I tamed it up. I would have gone for something higher, but I was kind of running low on time. So then comes the super long process of Tuso breeding. This, just like the last few seconds you saw, is about, I think it took about a couple hours. Because waiting for Tusos to grow up, breeding Tusos, hatching more Tusos, imprinting Tusos, making sure Tusos are fed, making sure the trough is fed. It takes a while. So then I bred up a Tuso that was basically equal to my current leveled Tuso. So, of course this one had imprint, so it was better. So I decided to level up because this one was going to be the one that I ride. This looks so crazy approaching with just the tentacles everywhere. So then once some of them got fully grown and I put a saddle on them, I crowd potted them up and I would just keep doing this as they grew up until eventually I had all whatever 19 I needed. And here I'm killing mosas to level up my Tuso. I think I ended up killing like 5 mosas or something like that. Overall got him really good level, and it got me up to level 99, so I'm closing in on max level. And this is just showing a bit of the boring process I go through. trying to lead tusos over to inside the range of like the trough, imprinting them, stuff like that. Then I wanted to check out where exactly the motor boss fight was, just kind of scout it out, see what I was dealing with. Oh yeah, this is easily enough room to fit 20 tusos. Nice. So then I went back home, and I had all of the tusos like bred up, but they weren't fully raised, so I just decided to go to the volcanic biome to just, I guess, have some fun while I'm waiting for them to grow up. I decided to maybe steal some more magmasaur eggs, see if I can maybe get a breeding pair. That is just so satisfying, shooting a big ball of magma into a group of insects. So, do I steal an egg and just fight all of them, or do I pick them off one by one? Oh wow, that charges fast when you're in lava. So I think I'm gonna go for this one here. And I'm glad I did, because it was 130.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
So here I'm thinking, I'm sure my magmasaur can take on all of these guys. Until I see 6 separate magma balls flying at me, and I cleverly decide to leave. So here I'm running back out, and I realize that the lava is bubbling, which usually means a volcanic eruption. Okay, we're good. You're safe on a magmasaur. At least as long as you stay mounted. Because from what I read, it doesn't actually give you a warning if there is a volcanic eruption. It just, like, does a bunch of damage to you if you dismount. Doesn't give you a warning, it says. I'd say my entire screen turning red is... oh. Yeah, I'd consider that a warning. God dang. Holy shoot, these guys are good at collecting metal. I mean, I guess I'll just stay mounted on this guy until it's no longer erupting. Hey, it's done. Let's go. So I wanted to try and get another egg, just in case this 130 is, say, like another female. So I wanted to go down here and maybe check the egg levels down here, because I think I remember the last time I was looking for magmasaurs, I think I saw a 145 magmasaur down here, which could have laid an egg. So then I proceeded to kill all the magmasaurs down here that I could. There was 145, so hopefully it laid an egg, and I didn't just ruin the chances of it laying an egg. I'm also seeing a lot of low levels down here, so hopefully they didn't lay eggs. I think I'm safe to grab this egg. That one magmasaur is kind of staring at me, but I think I'll be okay. Oh, that's the 145. Let's go.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, my God!
That man just sniped me. So I decided to just kill all the magmasaurs down here, just in case there was maybe another high level egg. Because I think I ended up, yeah, this one was a 140, so hopefully it laid an egg. I'm gonna check these 2 eggs. Level 15, trash, and level 50. Oh, that's a rip. I mean, I got that 145, so I can't really complain. This man actually thinks he's gonna run from me. So then I decided that while I'm down here, might as well get some element shards, considering I'm down here, I cleared out this entire area, so there's no real threat of magmasaurs. So yeah, I just sat there, harvesting up a bunch of element shards. I think I got like 11,000 element shards or something like that.
Confirmed. Teleport.
So then I teleported back home and kind of actually just sat here, waiting for some stuff to smelt up because I also had a lot of metal on me that I collected, and didn't just want to like throw it away. So I sat there for a bit, letting it smelt, swam back home, and I'm surprised these guys can actually like swim and not take damage. For some reason I thought they might take damage. So then I started the magmasaur eggs hatching. Got some more tusos cryopotted up with the saddle. And the 145 hatched, pretty normal colors. The 130 hatched. I actually don't notice the colors right here, but once I get into some sunlight, I realize it actually has really good colors.
Activated.
Then I decided to teleport
Here we
over
are,
to the
right
lunar
on
biome
top.
because I need more ambergris for the 2 baby magmasaurs. And of course, I was dying. So I teleported to another area, hoping it might be a bit safer than this one.
Here we are, right on top.
I feel so much safer here. This Rex is definitely a high level. Yep, 174. So after dispatching of the immediate threats, I hopped off with my flying drill and just shot at everything I could see, hoping I got some ambergris. And I got a good amount, teleported out,
Teleport complete.
and yeah, I'd say this is a pretty good amount of ambergris. So here I was just finishing up cryopotting the last of the tusos. Getting some good gear, kind of suiting up for the fight. This was the 19 tusos that I was going to use in the boss fight. As you can see, the health stats on them are really different on some of them. Some of them only have like 15k and some of them have like 40k. It's because the male that I tamed had kind of low health stat. It only has like 15k base. Whereas the original one that I tamed, the female, had like a 30k base. So here I was pretty much finally ready to do the boss fight. So I swam down there, started throwing out the tusos. Throwing out the tusos was actually the longest part of this because I literally had to throw one out, wait for cryo sickness to wear off, throw another one out, and yeah, it just took forever. So yeah, this looks like all 19.
This biome's
So I'm gonna start with the gamma motor, just to like kind of see how it is. Then I will try for beta, based on like whether or not I get destroyed from this. Pretty sure all of them will go in with this. So with the boss fight, I'll kind of just like show like the first part of it here, and I'll kind of just have the entire boss fight like all the way through shown, but just like sped up a bit.
We're making progress. Motor is definitely wounded. You did it!
So yeah,
Motor is
gamma
level.
motor was far easier than I thought it would be. Oh, and yes, I did spawn myself in a taxidermy tool because otherwise there would be no way of me getting it, since you unlock the engram on extinction and all that. So after the gamma, I checked all their healths, and they basically weren't hurt at all.
This biome
Like the most they took was maybe like 500 damage. So I went in for beta. Beta was my final goal for this, so yeah, let's see how this goes. So with this I'm gonna do the same thing like the full thing through sped up. So if you don't want to watch it, just skip through this, I guess. So for some reason, all of them just kind of went to the walls and didn't want to fight for the first part of this. They only started helping me once I, like, motor actually came all the way up here and started attacking me. But if someone could explain why that happened, I'm all ears. And no, I didn't accidentally whistle passive flee or anything like that.
We're making progress. Motor is definitely wounded. Now we've done it. Motor's coming after us.
And there it is.
Motor is
Beta
no
motor
more.
defeated. I have now completed all my goals for this. And looking back at their health, they weren't actually that damaged. So, I mean, I'm not gonna try for alpha, but maybe if you want to see this continued in maybe like an episode series, I could maybe get some mutations, maybe go for alpha. So here's when I actually see the magmasaurs in good sunlight. So first, 145 has pretty basic colors with like the gray and stuff. I think it's got like a little bit of like a bluish purple on like the tips of the, I'm just gonna call them spikes. But then the 130 has like this really nice bright blue on all the tips, and I just think this looks sick. Even though it's only 130 and it's not like my highest level, I'm definitely going to breed these colors in if I do end up breeding these. So then I finally decided to use all the metal I have to get an industrial forge. Considering it's day 96, I'm surprised I don't have one yet. So then I decided to hang up some of the trophies from the motor boss fights. First I started by placing the 2 flags on either side of this. I think the flags look pretty good there. Then I decided to place down the taxidermy base that I conveniently got from the boss fight and put the dermis inside of it. And it is way smaller than I thought it would be. Then I grabbed some trophy wall mounts for the other 2 trophies, and I decided to place them on either side of the flags. The right side was going to have the Gamma trophy, which for some reason is pretty normal color compared to the Beta trophy, which actually looks more green than anything. So day 97, I wanted to get a ramp built to the top of my base that I could actually walk my magmasaur up to, because the magmasaur is currently the most efficient metal harvester that I have, and my industrial forge is at the top of it. So I was getting a ramp so that I could walk my magmasaur straight up to it and just deposit the metal like that, instead of having to take like 100 to 200 metal at a time. Now I just hope it's actually able to walk up this, because oh, nice. So then I wanted to get the 3rd ocean platform placed, but I was trying to get it like lined up perfectly, and usually you use a ladder for that. But then I remember that the ocean platforms actually have a built-in ladder, so that actually perfectly lined it up for me. So then I finally remembered the mosa that I tamed, and never actually got a saddle for. So I decided it was a good time to finally get him a platform saddle. Since I haven't really done anything, just been sitting in a cryopod. So I got his health up to roughly 30k, seems pretty good. So what I was actually going to use the platform for was transporting my magmasaur from my base over to the west spawn island, which is the closest spawn island to my base. Because this is a lot faster and more efficient than swimming a magmasaur. Because magmasaurs do not swim very well. So for the last couple of days I wanted to finish it off by doing some volcanic hunt missions because I hadn't done any of these and I happen to have a decent magmasaur, so I thought this would be a good use for him.
Coordinates confirmed. Teleport complete.
This looks like a decent potential base location. If I potentially continue this series. Wink wink. So first I wanted to do the magmasaur hunt mission on Gamma. Just to see how it is.
And I'll scan this for you.
Holy sh!
I found something.
That thing is absolutely massive. Look at the size of it compared to my guy. The freaking Tuso hunt mission is like the same size as the normal one, and then this is like maybe 3 times as big as mine. So that's what I was concerned about with this mission, the overheating part. So here I kind of fumbled for a second and accidentally hit E to dismount. And I wasn't really able to get into a good position because the Carnos kept pushing me back. And here, I died to the overheating thing. And I wouldn't have died if the mission didn't kick you off your mount once you completed it, because it kicked me off into some of the fire left behind by the Magmasaur's fireball.
HLNA reporting for duty. If you're ready to explore,
This is going to be a bit of a run. Oh boy. So after teleporting closer and then running the rest of the way, I managed to get back and get on this. So then I decided that I probably have time for one more mission. So I decided to do the Allosaurus one on Gamma.
I should say
That audio was not altered at all, by the way. For some reason, that one fireball was just ridiculously loud. So the rest of the fight went pretty well, until I got to the last one, where it was 3 allos. And since it was 3 and in a pack, they had their bleed. So this started doing a ridiculous amount of damage to me, and I almost died to it. I'd say that's definitely enough hunt missions for the foreseeable future. So I just teleported home, and I was able to try out the method of dropping the Magmasaur onto a platform and just swimming home that way. And it worked pretty flawlessly. Surprisingly. I thought it'd be like flying off or something. So then I was just able to drop him there by going underwater, park the mosa, and then just swim the Magmasaur under this and up the ramp where I could deposit the metal. And there it is, day 100. I'm pretty satisfied with what I've accomplished, completed all my goals. Had a lot of fun doing this, it also took a while. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. And let me know if you want to see a series continue with this.